Hello, everyone. Welcome. And it looks like we've got some new people here, which is great. Welcome. And everybody say hello. Introduce yourself. I'm waiting for Instagram to go live here before I switch over. It just takes a little bit of time because I have to go through, I can't go directly from Restream. There we are. All right. We're set on both sides. I do this on both YouTube and Instagram. And Instagram is not willing to just let us go directly. So, oops, and I'm trying to my window, get my window organized. There we go. Um, and all right, show me the comments. All right, little technical fun here as always. Linda, hello from Vancouver. Rebecca, Leanne from Camas, Washington, Sydney, and Candace, newcomer. Looking forward to this session. Yes, good. Looking forward to you being here. Um, and me and Tanya, Elise, and me again. Those are my comments. So welcome. And I'm putting the headset on because Karen, you said it sounded better, but then when I went to listen to replay, that's just there's kind of that tinny sound from the lack of headset. So I am putting them back on, and I don't. The Wi-Fi thing doesn't always work very well. If you notice, with sometimes with people, I'm not going to get anything fancy. We're just here for. We're not here for the technology. We're here for our own technology. Our technology is right here, ourselves, our beings. And that's the interesting thing about technology is that we're developing a lot of amazing technology as well as kind of crazy stuff, and it's a lot of maybe some scary stuff too in a way, and scary because of the distorted use of it. But if you look at that technology, it's really showing us the abilities that we have. We have the ability to do what the technology does. Just either we don't remember or we don't know how to get there. We don't know what to, we don't believe in ourselves. But um, so, so think about that. Accessing information, like when you go to your browser and you look up stuff, you have that capability too. But we don't learn to use it, and we the more technology has developed, the more lazy in a way we've gotten, and we've gotten away from this incredible technology of our bodies, of our DNA. And that's an important reason not to get your DNA mucked around with by other things. No problem. I'm on a headset and that helps. Yeah, there we go. So anyway, so let's take a nice deep breath in into our own technology, our own sovereignty, our own beings. We just don't learn to appreciate ourselves enough. And it's not on everybody's agenda that we appreciate ourselves enough to really embrace our capacities, our abilities, our beings. Yeah. So settle into your breath. Whatever your breath is doing, don't worry about it being slower or deeper. Just kind of settle into it. And there was no way to get lost here. If you're new, don't worry. You can't get lost. You're tapping into yourself. You're doing the right thing. And last was it last time before, I can't remember, but Elzaba brought up something about tuning in, but then there's all this stuff going on, and maybe I'm not doing it right. It's like, no, you're doing it right, and having all those thoughts come up shows that you're doing it right because you're tuning in, and you always have to go through that layer of da, 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 da. We all have that. And so allowing that and just noticing that, it's like, okay, yeah, there's that layer. You can see it as a layer and you're just dropping down below it. You got to sink down to the lower levels. Yeah. And here we are sinking down as I'm saying it. So that's nice. Letting yourself float down below the surface to the depths of your being. Following your breath. Yeah. It's like that purity is there. And we're really kind of moving into it more deeply here. Don't know if you noticed that, but as I brought that piece up, but just moving down, got everybody to maybe tech difficulties. I don't know what you're referring to, Rebecca, if you're having something I said or tech difficulties. Oh, relative to our technology. Yes, it could be. I'm not sure what you're referring to though. But as soon as I said that, it's like the whole group dropped down. So just notice that. And, it just feels like there's, as we move into this expansion of consciousness, of existence, of frequency, this expansion in this, frequency, not just worldwide, not just individually, but universally throughout the whole of existence. Everything is just in this process. So a lot of times right now, especially when I go on social media, so you feel like you're in the layer of swamp, and so it's this whole layer on stuff on the external, and so that's bringing up an image for me, which is a good reference point for when you're clearing. Imagine just like a sphere. Let's say that's the planet Earth. There's a sphere. Well, around that sphere, there might be a layer of swampland. This whole layer of the swampland around, and it's in the process of clearing out, moving away. And so when you're getting work done, it's very common, depending on the level of the work, and level not meaning it's better or worse, but level relative to if you're at this frequency level and the work you're getting is at this frequency level, in there you're probably not going to notice it. There won't be that much shaking up that's flushing out that's happening. But if you're at this level and then you go in and get frequency work that's a higher level, that brings in, or not at high level, but that brings in higher frequencies and going into the core of your being. And so it's flushing out. It's going to that deepest, purest level of your being and starts flushing it out and bringing the thing to the surface. So then you have that, it's like you feel like you're swimming in the muck. And so when you notice that, and that could be happening to you, just you release something, or you go into that place of stillness and you notice that muck floating around. Don't get caught up in it. Come into your breath. Come into deeper within, and just focusing on your breath, coming into that inner place, finding that stillness inside of you. And so let's take a deep breath in with that. Let's do some practice with this. This is sort of like your practice session, so that when you leave here, you can do it on your own more easily. You have that reference point. Oh, we practice. Yeah, okay. It kind of anchors it into your being, instead of when you're all by yourself and you're like, okay, let me close my eyes. Let's see. Let's feel that stillness. Where's that stillness? Sometimes it feels that way. Even for like me, because when you're in the process of clearing stuff out, you can get like, where is that stillness? All right, so deep breath in, release it out. Yeah. And you might even have a sense of, relative to your body, it's up here, it's down below me. A lot of mental stuff clearing out for people right now, which is good. And it could be a new person. I think this is a new person, but a little confusion, which is okay. Be okay with being confused. We don't like that. We like to feel certain about ourselves, or feel like we know what we're doing, or that we know the answer. But confusion is a good sign. It means that there's something that's shaking up the habit, the set frame of reference, and opening up to more. Yeah. Settling in. And even if you have that muck, the junk floating around, notice that, and notice kind of beyond that. Because there's a good stillness today in the space. And it's really interesting because there is a certain density to it. There's a certain weight, and good weight. So solidness to it, which is great. Anchoring you into your home. Home. This is home. Right here. So it's like the purity of seat, that purity of that, where you sit within yourself. You sit within your being. And as you sit more within your being, more coming off. It's like, oop, okay, this pillow doesn't work. That piece of junk doesn't work. Let's move it on out here. So your systems are releasing more little things, here. It's amazing. And it seems kind of endless, but here's how it happens. It's like if you're at frequency 400, just any number, random number, doesn't relate to anything. It's just to be easier to explain. So you're at frequency 400. Well, anything that's 400 and below is going to feel fine. And it's like, wow, you're really coasting at 400. You feel yourself 400, shoo, it's like nice and clear. But as soon as something takes you up to 405, 410, it's like, oh, okay, whoa, there's that piece of junk. Where'd that come from? It's like, where did that come from? I felt fine like a minute ago here. That's because you're at 405, 410. It's like, well, there's a step there between 400, 405, 410. Even 405, even 401, but giving us a little bit more space there to make it easier to comprehend. So all of a sudden there's stuff that's 400. Well, 400 is not 410. So it's like, okay, all that stuff that's keeping you down at 400, you go up to 410. It could be a space, it could be an environment, it could be whatever comes up. You're just clearing stuff up. So all of a sudden the stuff shows up again. So it's an unfolding process. It's not an endpoint. And religion teaches us an endpoint because you're easier to control it if you have an endpoint. easier to direct, easier to control. Okay, deep breath in. Hold it at the top. Release it. Come back into your breath. So that's the tech difficulties, the human tech difficulty of that adjustment. Focusing on your breath, just letting yourself be aware of your breath. Drop into that breathing and just notice the breath. Just feel it, follow it in. As you breathe in, feel the air coming in, going all the way into the lungs. See if you can notice when it stops being cool and is further in. Settle into your seat. Bring your awareness to whatever you're sitting on. Feels like people are still a little bit up here. Just if you want to shift around, that's fine. But really bringing your awareness to what you're sitting on or lying down if you're lying down. If you're standing, you're going to have to go all the way to your feet, which is fine too. Feel the warmth of your body, that temperature exchange between your body and whatever you're sitting on. And noticing the clothes, your skin touching clothes, cloth, material. Really bringing your work. Yeah, there we go. There we go. And breathing with your awareness in there. And focus a little bit on clearing all the stuff that's been released because it's just kind of floating around people. So I'm going to work with that. Just focus on your breath. Focus on noticing what you're sitting on. You can go all the way down through your legs, down, feel what your feet are touching as well. If you're cross-legged, then just, focus on the pelvic floor and those legs, that whole area together. There we go. Yay, okay. When something doesn't feel like it's shifting very easily, look for attachments in terms of what would I be holding on to this for, if you know what this is. But if you don't, then just in general, why would I be holding on to something that is not, doesn't feel good, feels like muck, whatever. Habit is bottom line for a lot of us. It's just a habit. We don't know ourselves in any other way. We don't know ourselves differently, and we think this is who we are. We think X is who I am. No, there's so much more. Yeah. And this is your journey. This is probably the major, if not main part of your journey, is discovering who you are, who you really are, who you truly are. A lot of people energy too that's coming off of. So the attachments, people that we hold on to. There we go. Okay. It should feel like you can breathe more easily, or just feel a little bit more spacious, or maybe more relaxed. All right. Let's go at the top here. We're still, yeah. All right. So we're in our little space. It's nice and clear. The muck has moved away from people, and the space is nice and clear. However, there's kind of this general, beyond the space, you may be aware of that. You know, there's like the space around you. There's the space that the container for coming into being. So that's nice. That looks nice and clear now. But beyond that is there's all this muck. There's a lot of fire and mental stuff out there. And fire, it could be literally fire. It can also be like anger, you know, inflammation of being. Okay. Do I have any distortions or attachments from other people on me today? All right, take a look at that. See if you feel into yourself and move through your body and see if you notice anything for yourself first. We'll take a look at that later. Check yourself first. And that's fine to ask it that way, but I throw it back because I throw it back to people, not always, but a lot, because it's about you coming into your ability of doing that. And you know, sometimes I still can't figure out, and that's fine, you know. But I tend to throw it back at people to get people to develop those abilities, that those technical, that technology that for themselves kind of thing. So shifting, let me shift the space out because I want to say more about that. You're bringing up some good stuff here. Coming into your heart space, that's Candace, especially Leanne. Yeah, YouTube. Everybody else is used to that, so I think you guys and Linda. Okay, looks like there's 3 people that are new. So especially the new ones, because in particular, just because the rest of the crew here has been here, so they're kind of a little bit more used to it. So come into your breath. Feel your breath in your chest. Feel your chest expanding and contracting. And see, feel that expansion and contraction. In fact, everybody, let's do this together. We've done this before, but this is good to just do it together. So come into your breath. Feel the breath coming into your lungs, and feel your whole chest cavity expanding and contracting, expanding and contracting. And just follow that a little bit. Letting your awareness just sink down a little bit more each time with each breath. It's like on the exhale, you just kind of drop down a little bit further in. Until you feel that all around you. So you might be able to get to this place where you can feel your chest, but you also kind of feel around you that there's this movement, this expansion and contraction. And that'll just happen when you drop down deep. So if you're new to doing this, you don't quite get it now, just practice on your own. It could be also, not quite getting it because you're in a group and maybe you're feeling a little self-conscious in groups. Even though you're not seeing everybody, you may be seen by yourself. At this other level, we're in a group. We're just hanging out together here. And it just takes dropping down into yourself more, not being up here, but being really present in your body more. Yeah. All right. There you go. Okay, so with Sydney's comment or question, feel if any, just tune into your body for a minute. And one thing you can do is just see if there's any areas that feel like there's a little pull on you. When we're in our heads, we're not going to notice it as well. And that happens to me too. Sometimes I get busy, I'm on the computer, and then I get up and all of a sudden I'm feeling like that happened to me earlier. It's like all of a sudden it's like, okay, my adrenals are acting up. and you get faster at noticing it. But this is what happened to me earlier. It's all of a sudden I was doing something and get up and it's like, okay, my adrenals are just, my kidneys, the back, it just feels a little too wound up here. So you stop a minute, you take a deep breath in, you stop, you feel yourself, you come into yourself, and that can be enough to just shift it. Or it all of a sudden brings your awareness to, okay, there's something around me, and let's shift out of that. So the easiest thing to do to shift out of something is to just come into yourself. Just really. So for the new guys, we're gonna practice this. So really come into yourself, and easy way to do that is look at your environments. Everybody, to just take a look around your environment. Look at an object, anything. It doesn't matter what it is. The couch, the lamp. I'm sitting in the living room. The pillow, this whatever. Look at the object, and then become aware of your body. Feel a body. Become aware of a body part. Like it'd be your ears, the tip of your nose. So the object, your body. Hear sounds. Notice the sounds, and then notice your body. Any body part, doesn't matter. Top of your head, your elbows, your toes. And try to just do different parts of your body. Jump around your body, not always around your head kind of thing, or whatever. If you smell something, notice the smell. Notice what you're smelling. And then notice a body part. So smell your lips. Notice an object. Notice your lower back. Without looking at it, feel it. And that pulls you into your body, that pulls you into this environment, because unless you've got a physical person standing next to you or leaning on you, if it feels that way, because energetically it's going to feel that way, right? There's something there energetically. Well, that's the way to separate out from that really quickly, really easily. So coming back to Sydney's question. Yeah, bringing up another point. So become aware of your body. You can move top to bottom. Feel your head, feel your cheeks, feel your chin, feel your neck, feel your shoulders. Go through your arms, your upper torso, lower torso, upper legs, lower legs, feet. And name out the parts. Okay, fingers. And be really aware of your fingers. For example, move through your whole body. Feel your whole body. Notice if there's any areas where there's maybe a little pull or something. That can be an attachment, or a little heaviness, or a little density in one area that you don't notice elsewhere. That could be another person's, definitely another energy that's there. Maybe you've been carrying it for a while, but you come into your body and you notice it. If your energy field is really way out, and people have a tendency to be a little much further out these days than before, and part of that is technology, being on the computers, and so we're all pulled up. We're all trying to escape out. you know, there's just that general one. I don't want to be here, so you don't want to be here. And physical in any, if it's something physical, then you're not going to want to be in your body as well. So if you're really far out of your body, you need to just become more aware of your physical body, and that's because that space is open, and so you can pick up energies there. And if you're floating around, you might not be so aware of it. Okay, so did you get your answer? Did you find your answer? Or did that just helped you shift, or both? All right, nice deep breath in. So some emotional stuff coming up also. So a little bit going back over this. I said it before, when I made that, when I was saying what Elzaba had said one time, I feel like I'm doing it wrong. There's all this stuff coming up. Okay. Anytime you come into your body, if you feel something, you're doing it right, because you're bringing yourself into that area. So if there's emotional stuff that's coming up, it could be just stuff from coming into your heart space or into your chest, because that's a typical area to hold emotions. And if you're up here, you're not here. But when you come down here, and we also learn, it's like, well, we've got to be kind, we've got to be open-hearted, we've got to take in all this stuff from other people, we got to be empathic, because that shows we're a nice person. But that has tendency to make us take on all these emotions. So when you come into your heart space, for example, that emotion will start coming up. It could be your emotion, and it could be the other person's emotions that you're holding on to. So when you feel an emotion, it's like, is this mine or is this somebody else's? See what comes up. If it's somebody else's, then just like, okay, not holding on to that anymore. You come into your physical body, feel your body, because that's not me, letting go of this now. And then this is me, feel your body, and go like this if you need to. This is me, feel it, feel your physical body. That will help to shift it from you. Let's see. It helped me shift. Notice weird stuff. My head and solar plexus. Yes, those are going to come in together commonly. Can you speak to identity breaking up? That seems to be what's up for me. Well, it can feel like shit. It can feel like you're dying, and I'm quite literally. It has lots of emotional stuff to do with family and past events today, having to come more into me to shift things. Yeah, good. Um, and both. It's kind of, you come more into yourself to shift things, and as you shift things, you come more into yourself. There's identities. Okay. This is a good exercise for everybody to do after call, in between now and next time, or anytime. List all the roles that you have: sibling, sister, brother, aunt, uncle, parent, child, school child, student. List all of the um, roles that you have. Those are all identities. That's not you. That's just a role. It becomes an identity. It's like you're, and then it gets, it's not just wife, it's a good wife. That's a double whammy right there. There's the good, that becomes an identity. Wife, that becomes another identity. And they get meshed together. As it feels like a death. Yep. Yep. And it literally it's going to feel like that. And so there's going to be this piece. Shifting can be really tricky with identities. Just remind yourself, this isn't me. This is just something that I've learned to be. This is just an experience I've had. Just someone who, it's and you can look at life, going through life, as a play. You just got up on that stage. You were handed that part. You got that part. Okay, now you're just exiting the stage. So it's like, okay, that's just a part that I played in this scene. Now I'm moving into the next scene and I'm playing a different role. So I can leave that role aside. That's not me. This is not who I am. So yeah, and when it starts to feel like a death, it shows how attached we become at saying, oh, this is who Karen is. This is me. Because it made us feel safe. It made us feel secure. It made us feel more stable, because that's how we learn to move through life. You've got to have these roles to feel stable. Yeah. Just want to check in with, there's Linda and Leanna and Leanne and Candace. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them up in the chat. Anything that I've said that you're not, doesn't make sense, or it does make sense. Let's take a deep breath in, and it's okay if you're new and I just pointed you out. All of a sudden I feel like there's this kind of like holding the breath happening. So let's take a nice deep breath in, and then exhale all the way out. Exhale, exhale, exhale. Keep exhaling all the breath out, 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 out. Keep exhaling out, 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 out. And at the bottom, hold it. Hold it, and then let it come back in. Yeah. That's a good that's a technique for if you're feeling anxious, if your breathing is really shallow and kind of like just up at the top. So the anxiety is just like breathe all the way out, hold it for a little bit, hold it until it just comes in back in naturally. Your body will kick it back in. No worries there. Unless you get into some freak control thing of holding your breath like some kids do with their parents. Don't do that to yourself. Yeah, there you go. Okay, that just shifted some stuff for people. What is left? Good question. If you think about that, what do you feel is left? When you get rid of all your identities, what is left? The sitting in stillness automatically exposes to a shift to a higher frequency. Um, yeah, that's a really good question. it sitting in stillness opens you up to the possibility of shifting into a higher frequency. Yeah. And yes, because what I feel happening when I'm tuning into this just now, when you feel into that, so feel into that stillness, being in that stillness. And that stillness takes us into the depth of existence. And in that depth of existence, the deeper you go, the higher the frequency, vibrational state. So it does. And so the question really becomes, how do I maintain that for myself? How do I embody this and maintain it? So that's always the work. That's the coming into yourself. That's the work. That's the main journey. Is so those pieces are the same. And that becomes the real question. Not, can I go into higher states? Yes, you can. And we all have those moments of these openings where just for some reason, the planets are lying the right way, the temperatures outdoors is the right way, sun's hitting you in the right way. But whatever it is, all of a sudden there's that perfect alignment, and you're coasting, and you really, really just expand it, and you feel it and experience it. And so the question is about, what do I need to do to maintain this? What do I need to let go of? What do I need to open up to? What am I holding on that's still keeping me from that? It's like you hit those moments of pure alignment, boom, and you feel them. It can be really amazing. It can be like really expansive, or it can be just this smoothness, this ease. And it gives us that flavor. So it kind of gives us that tacking point on the trip of, okay, that's where we're aiming for. And then you come back. It's like, okay, now let's aim for that. What do I need to do? Let's see. Okay. This is so spot on for me today. Exactly what I've been working with. Thank you. Oh, good. Good. That happens. That happens a lot. That's how the space works. The information is there, and it gets brought forward. So then it comes to me, and gets brought forward. Yes, how to embody the stillness. So another way to look at that, because that's a little bit of the outside in thing, and another way to look at that, to reframe that, because that's going to be a different orientation. So sometimes looking at it that way can help. But I'm going to reframe it in different orientations. Okay, let me go back to that. Is that, so I am this stillness. So what is it that I'm holding on to? What is it that I'm still embodying that is not the stillness? So that that starts with a different premise, which both can be helpful. It kind of depends. Sometimes you have to go one angle, sometimes you have to go the other angle. Is the breath key to alignment and stillness? The breath is really important, because when you breathe, and I did I share this once, or was this just with Sydney on a session? Take any kind of breath count that you want to do. Breathe for a certain amount, hold for a certain amount, exhale for a certain amount. You can hold at the bottom again if you want. Do that 3 times and see where you're at. So it could be 4, 4, 4, 6, 3, 9. I like. It just hits the right space for me. Or 6, 2, 4, whatever. You can get into new numbers and what they represent and use that if you want. But ultimately, so just feel where you are, stop for a minute, and whether it's now or later, and then just, okay, breathe in for whatever count, hold for whatever count, exhale for whatever count. Do that 3 times in a row, and then see where you are. It gets your mind off of that monkey running around, just like gets that monkey like playing with that little seed sitting in place, right? And yeah, so it can be real key to that alignment and that stillness, the holding the breath, the becoming, the bringing your awareness into that space between. And in that space between, reaching for beyond the thought, which is it's a catch, and you realize how much the mind reveals to the thought are thoughts, and not what they are, but just the fact that we have thoughts, how caught up we are in identity, the identity of the one who's thinking. Yeah, so sit with that one for a minute, because that just opened up something for people. The identity of the one who's thinking. So if the thinking is an identity, yeah, sit with that. Yeah, very nice. I don't know if you guys can feel that, have a sense of that, even a little bit, but bringing up that piece, that the identity of the thinker, the one who has the thoughts, just created a more space inside of people. That's really nice. So let's sit with that as we come towards the end of the show here. And see if you can feel that sense of a little bit more space in being. Just realizing that's an identity. The one with the thoughts. The thinker is an identity, yeah. Okay, let's take a look at that. Just breathe into that space, because there's just more space has been made for people. So how do I step out of being triggered by those who don't see their own power and projection onto me? Well, the question is, if you're getting triggered, that's coming in from inside. So what's the trigger inside of you? Why should you care if people don't see their power project onto you? Sit with that one, Sydney. If you're being triggered, that's your issue. So take a look at that. Unfold that one for yourself. That's a good one. How do I step out? So how do you step out is to realize that that's not coming from the external piece. You're getting triggered by what they're doing. It doesn't matter what they're doing. And here in this case, so you are aware that they're not seeing their. I'll get to your comment, Leanne, in a moment. Yeah, just breathing. Okay. I read something yesterday that described me as the rock and thoughts as the ocean waves crashing against them, receding, not me. How does that feel to you? Does that feel like, does that kind of like, oh, gives you insight about yourself? Yeah, there you can see that analogy that way if you want, if that works for you. So that's not you, yeah. So you can see it that way, yeah. If it feels like, oh, if it helps to lock it into place, that's great. That's what counts, kind of giving that, just like earlier, just something kind of just boom, just just a little bit more space for everybody on that. The thinker is an identity. Okay, so Sydney brings up a good point, is that when you are being triggered, it's not the external. It's not because of anything happening external to you. It's because of what you have inside of yourself. That's saying it's got to be this way. It's got to look this way. It's got to happen this way. Whatever. It resonates with me. It gives me a feeling of power, of groundedness and stillness. Yeah, yeah, good. So that's good. But that's a nice imagery, to help create that sense. All right, let's take a nice deep breath in. I've got my little QR code. I managed to sneak that in as I was talking, in case anybody wants to make. Oh, Asta, I didn't see you there, back there. Sorry for not saying hello earlier. I got to move my screen so I can see that better. So Asta, if you have anything to say. Sorry. I feel bad, because I want to make sure, just because I have to have two screens for Instagram. Again, Instagram's just not willing to cooperate very well with us on this streaming platform. So if you have any comments, Astra, any thoughts? So let's come into that. Come into yourself. Come into your breath. This session helped me a lot today. Thank you so much. Good. And feel yourself for a minute. Let's bring up the thinker. Be aware of yourself, that as having these thoughts, thinking. It's okay. Thank you. And then just say to yourself, it's like, well, that's just an identity. This is just a role that I've taken on, because it's been helpful to move through life, to have this thinking part. It's kind of helped out in some times. At some moments, it's been helpful. Sometimes it's gotten in the way, and maybe it gets in the way a lot more often than I would like. But it is just an identity. It is just a role that I've taken on this journey. So you can appreciate that part, that identity, that part, that role that you've played, and just, so it's like, okay, yeah. Sometimes, okay, we'll just work on that, because you can have some really powerful thoughts as well that really take you, wow, really open things up. Even just that thought of the thinker is an identity, that opened things up for people. So we don't need to bash anything up. We don't need to get rid of anything. We need to understand it better and put it in its right place. Okay. All right, good job, everybody. And thanks everybody for stopping in. It's nice to have new folks come in. I hope that was fun and good for you too. Next, okay, let me pull up the calendar because we do this on the first and third Wednesday of the month. So it's easy if I just say it at the end. Let's see, September. So it's the second. So the next time is the 16th. And if by the 16th anybody has a good idea for the 30th, then we'll do something on the 30th. But normally we wouldn't because it's only the first and the third. So I'll leave it up to you guys. But I need to know by the 16th, by next time. And deep breath in. Feel yourself, feel your body, feel your being. Notice your environment, notice where you are. Then become aware of your body in the space. Become aware of how much space your body is taking up in the space that you are in. Have a sense of that. There you go. Coming into yourselves. Okay, so see you next time. See you on the next round when you show up. And we'll do better with Instagram next time. Haven't had a lot of people, so that's part of the thing I did, and I didn't have the window set up correctly. And until then, notice what identities you have, what roles you've been playing that are all identities, and just make a list of them. It's pretty wild. So there we have it. Thank you all for stopping by. It's been nice to meet the new folks, the new people, and see you all next time. See you in the ethers and wherever else we meet up. Take care, everybody.